Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to SherryLord.com for more info. Yay! Welcome, everybody. Good morning. I'm your influencer host, Sherry Lord. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a very special guest here, and it's Rodasi Campbell, and we'll be bringing her on. She'll be talking about meditation and states of consciousness. And we also want to let you know is that you want to check out satyamapublishing.com. They have a Facebook page and they have a website. They're also giving away giveaways. They have been wonderful with us. And our giveaway today is going to be Mythical Goddess Tarot. So whoever chats, you have to chat and say hello. You have to say something. And we are also going to be giving a giveaway from Rodasi, and she has a wonderful book. You're going to love reading her book. We're going to bring it up. I love this. Meditation for Badassery. I mean, she is a pioneer in meditation. I'm telling you what, she is so good at it, and she helps so many people get there too. You're going to love the conversation with her. And I just want to say, welcome, Rodasi, and I just going to just kind of say a little bit about you, but I really want you to talk a little bit more about you and about our topic and how you got on your path and how you've helped people and where you are now. And Rodasi Campbell is a lifelong seer and student of the unseen world. She has 20 years of expert experience studying, practicing, and teaching and training the art of meditation and the exploration of consciousness. In conjunction with these studies, she has studied yoga, science, Asian healing arts, and herbal medicine. And Rodasi is a practitioner of Earth-Based Spirituality and Ancestral work. She is amazing. Welcome. We're so happy to have you. And we want you to make sure that you have the comments clicked on your end, Rodasi, because people are going to be commenting on us. We got Tanya. She's saying, good morning, Tanya. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Welcome, Rodasi. Thank you for joining us. You're so amazing.
Oh, Sherry, goodness. Yeah, thank you so much. You're so generous. I am really grateful and honored to get to be here. And, you know, we both, it's been a long journey. We both have spiraled around the cosmos, and I've known you for a very long time. And it's so beautiful to still be connected.
Oh, absolutely. We just want to let everyone know that's watching us. Rodasi is in Michigan, Traverse City area, and they got hit with a snowstorm. So she might be coming in and out like Mary Poppins a few times, but we'll bring her right back on the screen. They got hit with a lot of snow, and I don't know if that's a blessing, but snow is beautiful. But I just myself don't like to be in it, but I love watching it because I think it's got its magic too.
Certainly, yeah. It's still snowing and blowing out there, and I think that it's starting to chill out a little bit. But yes, thank you for your patience, folks who are watching. If we have some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Well, we're so happy that you are on our show. And what do you want to? You wanted to talk about meditation and the states of consciousness. And I'm also going to bring your book up too, because your book is part of this. Is this how the book got started, or is it from your years of experiences? Because you are a master of meditation. You really are, and much more. You're a teacher.
I mean, you know, I think of the masters as people, and this is all that they do. And I'm a mom, and I am an entrepreneur, and I'm a healer, and I work in the recovery field as well. And so, you know, I'm not just sitting. But I have also just sat. I've lived in communities where that's all I did, like a nun or a monk, you know, and I've spent several times in this lifetime so far doing that. And it is a strong part of my archetype to go off to the woods, off to the mountain, off to the cave, if you will, off to the ashram and sit. And so while I'm not sure if I want to use the word master, I do, in terms of the professional world, I do have more than enough hours to be an expert as far as a practitioner, as far as a teacher and trainer. And I have to tell you, one of the key principles that I want to share today is that, unlike so many things in life where we're taught that, there we are. Am I back?
Yeah, it's just the internet.
I have to actually practice it. Like, I know I've been with you and you do your practice every day, a couple times a day, whatever that is. And for a yogi, for a meditator, for a healing arts person, we have to do our practice every day. It keeps us attuned, like an instrument. And so but what we're trained in this world to think of as education, and now I know it here and therefore I am that's the whole wrong approach. So you have to actually, this whole book, Meditation for Badassery, came about because people during the pandemic were struggling, of course, myself included, like, who am I? Where am I? What's going on?
Yes, exactly.
And tuning in and seeing how one can be useful while my kids were hanging around. And so lots of people got to know who my kids were as well, doing Facebook lives during the pandemic. And, I've repeated myself as my teachers have repeated themselves many times. And finally was like, I need to just put this down in a book, which was a little radical because I was a part of this international organization that had just this one particular type of meditation. It was the meditation, and any other kind of meditation isn't as cool or effective or what have you. But I found in my work in the recovery world and in my work with people in general, yoga classes or just a general meditation class, that you have to meet people where they're at. And to make something elitist and not allow it to be available to everyone, it was rubbing up against my core values and what feels.
Yeah, she's in Traverse City, so the internet, there's a little skeptical there.
So as I was saying, I couldn't not write this book, and I knew that it might rub up against some of the purists that I worked with in this international organization, and I couldn't care, So it was birthed, and it really is a mix of science and practice and some inspiration quotes in my story. And the hope in this book and in everything that I teach is to empower people and inspire people and support people to get into the experience, not just to educate their mind, but to get into the experience. And that's what states of consciousness is about. You can't change your state consciously by just learning something in your head. You have to actually do things that shift your state of consciousness. So did that answer the question? I kind of
that was a beautiful way of explaining it. With Tanya Burley said, Rodasi did a reading for me at your show in Sarasota, and what a beautiful soul, a beacon for women's growth. And you really are. And Beth Perry says, good morning. So I'm so happy we got people chatting here with us. We appreciate you. And all the people who are watching us, a lot will watch, some will chat, but we hope they all will eventually.
Yeah.
But you've been really helping women for a very long time. Yourself too, in the empowerment area. You really help women empower themselves, and men too. But I just know that it seems majority of the women.
Well, yeah, I mean, on one hand, a lot of women are drawn to evolutionary work, healing work. It's part of the female archetype, I think. The feminine part of us is movement and expression and wants to grow. But yeah, a lot more women are drawn to whichever kind of work. But for me, on my path of growth and healing, women's spirituality has been a really important part of that for me to learn how to be a woman and a mother in this world and take care of my unique nervous system, my psyche, the protein molecules of hormones that are moving around. You know, and as someone who grew up traumatized and someone who had addiction issues as a result of trauma, I believe, um, you know, which many people do, we're seeking a solution.
Right.
We're seeking to shift our state. We're seeking to get rid of the conditioning and the programming and the vows, as you and I were talking about, maybe made in this life that we weren't aware that we made, or in another life. We're
Yeah.
seeking to shift our state to remove that programming. And so frequently we're trying to do it in a way that we don't know how to do it. We've never done it before. And we put all this effort in, and we're listening to all these voices outside of ourselves. And what I found is I did need some guidance from other women who had been mothers, who had been single mothers, who had dealt with different, you know, female nervous system issues. I needed to hang out with other women to heal my own wound against women. You know, we're afraid of each other, the backstabbing and the blaming and the gossiping,
Mhm.
and that stuff still happens, you know, to around me some, but a lot less because of, you
Yeah.
know, we still get kind of like targeted when you put yourself out there sometimes.
Yeah.
But like I've learned how this is someone else's pain, and to take it in by being with other women, by being on the path of consciousness, to take it in, see what it's jostling around in me, if it's jostling something around, you know, triggering me or making me
Right.
feel uncomfortable. What part of this is mine? Where can I take the gem out of this, and how can I turn it into something useful or heal? And
Yeah.
what,
That's
and then
good.
send the energy back to those who are hurting, or in a place of fear and misunderstand, disconnected from source, that they feel that they have to do this. So women's work is shadow work. You know, I mean, I think men and women, it's shadow work. And
Seems like,
sitting
well,
still in meditation, when you are sitting with yourself for hours and hours and hours, for weeks and months on end, you first of all, you contend with so much stuff,
mhm.
all the energy moving through, and the way that you've labeled it and judged it, and recognize, whoa, I'm the one who's creating all of this. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, I've been identified with this. but
Yeah.
but at the same exact time, unbeknownst to you,
Yeah.
you're healing your nervous system, you're deprogramming, your protein molecules are changing, the cells are craving new, you know,
Right.
happier, healthier molecules. You are expanding your consciousness without even trying to do all of this. Just sitting there shifts your state and changes the physiology of your nervous system, your brain. It, you know, like, we're taught, educate myself here, then I know now my life should be different. That's not how it works, you
Mhm.
know. And we're taught that if I'm around Sherry, then I'll have enough good energy that I won't be bothered anymore by the things that bother me. Which, you know, like, can I get it from Sherry? Well,
No.
Sherry can help turn my attention back and
Inward.
help me do whatever I'm meant to be
Yeah.
doing by mirroring that back. But Sherry can't do it for me. And
Yeah.
so then when I get uncomfortable, you know, it's easy for me to point the finger at Sherry, because Sherry didn't fix it for me, you know. Oh, well, that's called victim consciousness.
Yeah.
And that is what happens when we aren't being present.
Right.
That is what happens when we're disconnected and afraid. That's what happens when we think, I've done everything and this problem is still here and I must be a lost cause. But that's all happening unconsciously. And so it's
Mhm.
easier for me to just project my pain onto you. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know how I got there, but this is how that programming works inside of us. And when you are committed to sitting still in meditation for periods of time beyond your comfort zone, you, first of all, you don't just contend with all those things. You wind up going, I am the only one who can take responsibility for this.
Mhm.
No one else can take responsibility for all of this that's going on between my ears, which is generating protein molecules, that's making me emotional, that's making me have more thoughts, that's making me project into the world this existence that I don't like, you know? And so then you start to go, wow. And if you have a good teacher around, they'll say, what part of you
Yeah.
is watching all of that?
Yeah.
What is that part of you like that's watching all of that movement of the mind, the energy in your body? What part of you is in observance of that? And can you pay more attention to that than this circus that's going on in there that feels so real and is so uncomfortable? And when you have a teacher who will tell you that, and where we put our focus, our life force goes, where we put our attention, then all the energy that we have, all of the power that we have, tunes back into our own selves, back into source. And all of a sudden, our life force, our life energy gets beautiful, and we start to be radiant, and we don't even know that we are shining, you know, because we're just minding our own business. We're not trying to get validation anymore. We're just minding our own business because I've been sitting down and doing my practice, and a bunch of stuff just got cleaned out. And I don't care if it was comfortable or peaceful or not, because what I know is this is what I needed to do to attune to what is being called forth from me today. Yeah.
That is deep. And Beth Perry wrote Wise Words and Lessons. Boy, this was deep. This was huge information that, you know, I have to say everyone's gone through this in some level, some way. And it was good to hear, you know, your own experience of that and how you dealt with that and what you can do, and the understanding of that is huge. That was huge.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have countless stories, and a person, when they can understand what I'm saying and when they have a story to share back, I'm always like, oh, you're amazing. Thank you for sitting still and doing your work. And I don't really like that phrase, doing your work. Like you and I were talking about play earlier.
Yeah.
And like, let me be devoted and enjoy. Let me
Yeah.
be disciplined and be willing to get outside, go feel difficult, challenging things, and still keep staying open. Let
Yeah.
me do that. Let me enjoy. Let me prioritize peace of that. You know, let me prioritize that part of me that is already free. And
Yeah.
instead of the stories that come up for us when we go to do something new, like I'm preparing a performance of a sort, and I'm like, oh, I'm so scared, and every old like thing popping up, and it's so funny and so silly. I spoke it all just as strong as it feels for me, with the intent to move it and move on, you know, and to move on. And if you can take that approach to life, like, you know, I'm not going to make you responsible for how I'm feeling. I can say this sucks, I don't like this, you know, but I'm not going to actually believe that you're doing this to me. And if I have somebody in my life and a circumstance does need to change, then I get into this space inside myself, like it's just time for a change. And I don't need to be dramatic about that. You know, I don't need to shame you. That's gross. I don't need to shame myself. I can just shift my attention, which is a change in a state, and return to innocence, if you will. Remember that old song?
Yeah.
I think it was Enigma, A Return to Innocence. I love that song.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you wanted to add to that, Sherry, or?
No, I feel that, you know, you got the ball rolling. I think this is a really good conversation because this is, you know, life stuff and how to deal with that at a higher level, you know, or the understanding to that, you know, and shifting that. I think that's huge. And tell you one thing, you guys are going to love her book. I mean, she's an amazing teacher, more than just what I'm saying. She's more than a teacher. She's the beautiful example, living life fully at another level of awareness to it that you have within you. to get there too. It's within you. Everything. I mean, we deal with life stuff. It's not to ignore it. It's life, you know, and how to deal with that. And I think you have, is there any other tools that you can share with people that they can use in their daily life to shift some things with them? But they have difficulty sometimes with people, you know, or, you know, blame, disagreements, which you've been covering, you know, which is really good. And meditation does help in explaining it, that that's a victim perception of somebody when they blame you for something. It's their own, it's not yours, but you always feel that energy impact sometimes, like you were saying. So, yeah.
Well,
And,
I do have a few more points to make, and I will share a tool.
yeah.
But I just want to say, you know, our life started in innocence. I'm not saying we came in with a clean slate. I don't know that that's real. I think we came in with some, you know, memory.
No, we came in. I believe that too, because I've had people go back to where, I'll just share this. I don't want to interrupt you. And some of my own clients have come back. You know, I came in. They saw me coming into birth, but I was not feeling safe. So they did come in for something they need to heal, you know, or complete or finish. Oh, come on. Bring it back in. Okay, continue. This is huge.
Speaking of what you just shared, but when you come into a body, there is this way that the brain is innocent.
Right.
You know, like there might be some physiological discrepancies, and our soul might know some things.
Whoops. They had a snowstorm, so she might be popping in and out like Mary Poppins here. We're going to bring her back.
I love that I'm having this reference to Mary Poppins. So, so we have to become, like, we come in with this wow, and then we start to learn these limitations, like I have to cry to get attention and to have food, and we have to learn these important rules about earth school, you know, like this is earth school. I've got to learn something, but we also, unbeknownst to us, start to take on these limitations and beliefs of limitation that are beyond the healthy limitations that we learn. But we can reestablish life in the present moment. We can reestablish life in that state of childlike innocence. And we are the only ones who can counter that. It's not the irritations in our life that take us. It's that I have not yet cultivated the congruent conditions to be able to transcend this or transmute it, really. Like, if I'm in the middle of something challenging, I don't blame the other person or block the other person irritating me. I open up my consciousness. I ground in the center of myself. I let there be enough space for everything. Sometimes that's putting your attention on your feet and being grounded. Sometimes it's putting your attention on the space surrounding you. Sometimes it's putting attention on the breath, because like maybe I'm an Aries, I'm fiery. I also am prone to just leave my body. So I could either get mean, or I could just, go away, disappear, not be present anymore. And so for me, using these tools to just use a mantra, which, by the way, mantra means is broken into two words, manas and tra. And manas means the mind, and tra means to protect. So we're actively engaging. I'm going to protect my mind, or I'm going to create a story right now that's going to lead to some bad behavior that's not going to lead to the outcome that I really want, which is oneness.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So using a mantra like peace is, or Om Shanti, or what have you, whatever your mantras may be, to not just think that so you can block this energy, but think it to get really grounded and spacious, grounded and spacious.
That's good tool.
But I want to say, so these states of consciousness, when you are sleeping, your body is at rest, your mind is not alert. We just kind of go into this beautiful dark womb space. Who knows what happens? But if the body were to be measured, it's not active. Now, when we're asleep and we start to dream, then there's activity going on.
Right.
We're digesting food, we're digesting thoughts. That's an active, there's a little bit of activity going on in the nervous system. So that's a measurably different state than the state of sleep. And then, of course, when we're awake, we're alert, our body's not at rest, we're moving around. There's a lot more activity in both places. But there's a fourth state, and there are states beyond that. And the fourth state is when we are resting present.
Yep.
And when your attention is very present and you're in a deep state of meditation, there's no movement going on.
Yep.
When it's measured by science, it's a very rested, in fact, deeper than the deepest sleep at night when you get into that deep meditation and the brain waves are changing and the physiology has shifted and you're just in this space, and you can get very, very good at getting as well as open is what I was saying when he popped out. So to close your eyes is important to help your nervous system, to attune to that reestablishing innocence, reestablishing presence.
Yep.
And then to play with your eyes open to interrupt this mind gone wild of 90,000 unconscious thoughts throughout the day that aren't getting us anywhere generally. Helping us to come present and playfully engaging that, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Now, not just when I'm upset or something's irritating, but also when I just notice I'm not being present to what is in front of me, not being here, not tuned in anymore. I just can shift, and different things can help me shift back to being present. And then I begin to have this experience where it's easy for me to stay present. And that is a different state as well. In that state, compared to the normal waking state, we're not as stressed out. There aren't as many stress hormones. There's more happy hormones. We're not as identified with that movement of the mind and the emotion and energy coming through. It's a different state. And it's really fun to explore those states of consciousness written about by the masters of the Far East, Paramahansa Yogananda, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. There's science that backs this up, but there's also, more importantly, your own personal experience, people. So get into whatever you can get into and do it consistently, because when we stop doing it, we can also start to revert back to the mind gone wild again, stress hormones taking over my body. That's been my experience anyway. And when you do revert back, you haven't lost what you've attained. You've just gone back to sleep for a minute, disconnected for a minute, just come back.
Yeah.
Just get back on the saddle. All is not lost. And we're all in the middle of a really gorgeous and I'm going to say awakening. We've been talking about this for decades now, Sherry, haven't we?
Yes.
But it is an establishing and anchoring in this state that we're talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Beth says it sounds like about owning your journey and walking your program and working your program.
Nice, Beth.
Yeah, no, this was I really am enjoying the conversation with you. It's very in depth. And this is what people deal with every day, and having the understanding to it and how to shift that is important, and the clarity, I think illuminating it in light, like you've been doing as a teacher, is amazing, as a spiritual being and working in this physical world, you're amazing. You are really a beautiful person inside and out, and teacher as well. And anybody that wants to get a book, how can people get your book? How can they get your book?
Yeah, right now, so I've self-published on Amazon. I know Amazon's not everyone's favorite, but that is where it is, and that's where you can find it. I believe it's still free on Kindle. So you could download it from Kindle, and then otherwise it is the paperbacks, like maybe $16 or something like that on Amazon. And There is a Facebook group too. I've not been very active in there, I'll tell you, recently, but I do also have a new meditation series I'm just going to do once a month for the time being. And that starts actually this Saturday, and it can be one-offs. People can join. There will be some in person and some, but all of them will be also offered on Zoom. So you can connect with me on social media, Rodasi Campbell. And I can get you connected if you have any interest in going more deeply and learning how to employ what I've talked about in terms of tools and practices.
Yep.
So that's a possibility too. But the book is on Amazon currently.
Oh, that is, I mean, it's a really good book. And I mean, we're just so happy having you. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we do our drawings?
I had a few notes. I'm just going to take a peek. I think that don't make your limitations and your conditioning a problem, but do get excited to playfully change your relationship to it.
Yeah.
And the world needs that of us. The more we can stop the warring inside of ourselves and participating in that by being in that vulnerable victim-y state, you know, and I still have to practice this every day myself. Okay. But when you continue to participate in cultivating those congruent conditions for your highest self to be radiating more of the time, then, well, I had this quote from my book, and it's not my quote, but it's in the section why I think you're here book.
Yeah.
And it's a quote by Steve Pavlina. It says, "Don't die without embracing the daring adventure your life was meant to be." Your life was meant to be. And it's pretty daring to be willing to take responsibility for whether you're being present or not.
Wow.
That's what I've got.
Oh my God, we so love having you. We're definitely going to have you back. And we have 2 people. So instead of me going copying out and doing the drawing, I put them on paper. So what I'm going to do is drop this paper. We're going to do, the first one is going to be satyamapublishing.com. Make sure they have a Facebook page. And we're going to give away an oracle deck, the Mythical Goddess Tarot, and it is by Sage Holloway as the author and Catherine Skaggs is the artist.
It's a beautiful deck.
Yeah, and you said you used this deck. Is that what you said? You used
I
it
did.
before?
I have. I've taught a lot of goddess archetype and mythology in my women's spirituality work, and I gifted that deck to a friend of mine. But yeah, I used to use it regularly. So good luck, whoever gets it.
So we're going to do that one first. And let's see who gets this one. Tanya Burley. She gets the Oracle deck. I ask everybody who wins to please email me at sherrylordpodcast@gmail.com with your address so I can send it to you and a phone number. Just in case I lose something, I can get a hold of you if something doesn't feel right or I have another question for you. And we are so excited to be giving away also Rodasi's book, Meditation for Badassery. So we're going to just wad these up again. We got 2 here. So the chat people get to have a choice here. Let me see which one this one is. I got to open her up. This is Beth. Wasn't that something? Worked out great for each of them. Beth, you won her book. You're going to love it, you guys. You're going to love the gifts today. And again, how can people get a hold of you?
So I have a what do you call it? A business page on Facebook. Rodasi. Have my website is still down right now. So that really, Rodasi Campbell @gmail.com is also my email address. And then if you connect with me on social media, you know, like there's other ways that we can connect as well. And there's a lot of ease in sharing information that way. But right now my Facebook page is a mini website space. And eventually I'll get my website back up.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I mean, people really need you, and your light is so bright. We love having you. We definitely have you back. And you can also get our information on our website at www.sherrylord.com/podcast. And if you want to be a guest on our show, go to the website. The information is there. If you want to place an ad, we're doing ads now. The ads are awesome. We have a very special ad going on for $50 a show to market yourself and promote yourself. It's a 60-second voiceover. And then we do for $100, I'm the host, influencer host. I would script read it for 90 seconds, and I would have your product or a picture of your product, and we'll be displaying that as well. And we love our sponsors, and we love all the people who place an ad, and that's new that we're adding. So we just want to say thank you to Rodasi, everything you do, and keep your light bright. And make sure you get a hold of her. She is amazing. You definitely want to work with her. She's good. She's excellent.
Thank you, you generous woman. Thank
Thank
you.
you, my friend.